मति नंदन ब्रज नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमति नंदन ब्रज नागर गोकुल नंदन काना मदन मनोहर कालिय धमन विधान कालिय धमन विधान यशोमति नंदन गोकुल विलास कमल हरि अमय विलास विपिन नंदन ब्रज नागर गोकुल रंजन काना उलच जन पालन असुर कुल नाशन नंद गोदन गोदन कमाला गोविंद माधव नवनीति तस्कर गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर सुंदर नंद गोपाल सुंदर नंद गोपाल मति नंदन ब्रज नागर कुल रंजन काना मन तट चर गोपी बसन हर यमुन तट चर गोपी बिबसन हर रास रसिका कृपमाय रास रसिका कृपमाय वल्लभ वृंदवन नट भर श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदवन नट भर मुक्ति विनोदाशाय भक्ति विनोदाशाय रमति नंदन ब्रज नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमति नंदन ब्रज नागर गोकुल रंजन काना। Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We'll continue with prayers, Prabhu. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदाङ्कितं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना श्रीललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवतिर्नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजाङ्ग्रये नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय गो ब्राह्मण्य हिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामदे गौरत्विषे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सितारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम राम हरे श्री विष्णु हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम होप माय वॉइस इज ऑडिबल हरे
Yes,
कृष्णा
Prabhuji.
पद्मा माता जी ओके धन्यवाद प्रणाम हरे कृष्णा शिरीषा माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा युवराज प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम हरे
Krishna
कृष्णा
Prabhuji.
रामरेड्डी प्रभु जी
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा रामरेड्डी प्रभु जी
हरे
धन्यवाद
कृष्ण
प्रणाम
प्रभु
हरे
धन्यवाद।
कृष्णा संजय प्रभु
हरे
धन्यवाद
कृष्ण।
प्रणाम
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
प्रभु जी,
प्रवीण प्रभु
दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा धन्यवाद प्रणाम माता जी पद्मा माता जी So I'll start sharing my screen माता जी Hope you are able to see my screen माता जी प्रभु जी
Yes, Prabhuji.
okay excellent just give me a sec Hare Krishna okay we are going to continue Srimad Bhagavatam chapter by chapter studying chapter by chapter yesterday we have discussed chapter 3.6 part 1 now we're going to continue that the left part okay like we have seen around two parts and second part is bit left out and we'll continue that and then we'll see the remaining part so the chapter name maybe I'll just summarize okay creation of the universal form okay that is a chapter we're studying in third canto okay sorry for that yeah okay I'll just summarize what we have discussed yesterday okay Hare Krishna um, I'm just thanking His Grace Lilananda Prabhuji and His Grace Praveen Prabhuji and everyone, okay, you all providing this opportunity to discuss this chapter. To be frank with you all, Prabhuji's Matajis, I do not have any qualification. Forget about reading this. Like I don't even any have qualification to even touch Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. It is just the mercy of Leelanand Prabhuji and Balgovind Prabhuji. Okay, I'm just trying to understand Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to a very little extent. So I'm showing the gratitude, His Grace Leelanand Prabhu, His Grace Balgovind Prabhu. Hare Krishna. If any mistakes, if I'm saying, please stop me immediately. And if anything positive which is coming, it is just the mercy of Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. There is nothing great in me. I am the most fallen soul on this planet. Hare Krishna. So we have discussed total 4 sections. There are total overall here in this particular chapter 4 sections. So the first section is development of Gingatic universal form, which is one of the very technical section. Yesterday, His Grace Dastaraj Prabhu has covered. He has taken the most difficult part actually. Okay, it's very technical, and then there is a lot of discussion. So hope we all understood that. Like it is worth it to read it again from the purports. And then section 2, it's a kind of started. So where manifestation of the different demigods from the universal form. So it is like a different demigods appeared when their respective locations are differentiated from the Virit Rupa. So till we have seen around, I say around 9 to 10, we have seen till 20, we have seen, and the remaining demigods, okay, which is manifested from the different demigods from the universal form, okay, which are the demigods are manifested that we will see in section 2. And then section 3 is talking about the development of planets, okay, and living entities and varnas. Okay, we have 4 varnas. So those 4 varnas be discussed in section 3. And then the 4th section, which is the last section of this part, is Maitri Muni felt that he is unworthy to describe the Lord's unlimited glories. He himself felt that like it's not possible to glorify, but he still tried to glorify the Lord in spite of his ability. So if he thinks that he is unable, okay, he himself heard from directly from Krishna along with Uddhava. So we can think of about ourselves. It is not possible for us to glorify, but still we try to glorify to the extent possible. Okay, with the intelligence what is being given to all of us. Okay, that is what is being covered in part 4. So with this part 4, we'll be covering this chapter. Okay, so I'm entering into this is just a quick classification of this particular chapter um, with the sections. Now, continuation of the yesterday's of the section 2. Okay, we're going to continue manifestation of the different demigods from the universal form. So yesterday we have covered till 20 slokas, and then today we are covering from 21. So the 21st sloka, I'm not reading the sloka, okay, because of the limitation of the time. So 21st sloka is being covered. Thereafter, when the hands of gigantic from separately became manifested, Indra, the ruler of heavenly planets, entered into them, and thus the living entity is able to transact business from his livelihood. So our hands are very important for all of us. Correct, right? Yes or no? Prabhuji's Mataji's, for any activity, you want to do any transaction or anything, okay? So the hands are very, very important. So the hands were able to operate, and then the Adhisthana Devata for these hands is or Indra. Okay, that is what here the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, this sloka is telling us. Indra is the is the is the Devata, okay, who is controlling these hands for all of us. Okay, there is no puppet is given for till 20, only for one sloka we have puppet. So we should be able to go very fast till this 20th sloka, 27th sloka. Then after that we are going to have heavy puppets. Okay, so let us try to complete till 20 seconds in maybe 10 minutes or so, and then we can enter into part 3. Okay, 20 second is thereafter the legs of gigantic, okay, form separately became manifest, and a demigod named Vishnu. But this Vishnu is not personality of the Godhead. Okay, the demigod name is Vishnu. Entered with a partial movement. This helps the living entity to move his destination. So the legs are very, very important for us. Without legs, we can't go anywhere. So we'll be sitting in the same place. So this is very important. Hands and legs both are very important. In our body, every part is very important. There is nothing like this part is not important. So the Krishna has not given any part which is not important for us. So the legs, so who is a demigod who is controlling? The name is Vishnu. Is the one who is controlling us, controlling the legs. Okay. The next, moving to the next sloka. When the intelligence of the gigantic form separately became manifest, Brahma, the Lord of Vedas, entered into it with the partial power of understanding, and thus an object of understanding is experienced by the living entities. See here, the intelligence means buddhi, which is very important for every human. See, we are able to differentiate what is good, what is bad. Okay, we are able to read Shastra, we are able to hear Shastra, okay, from our Siksha Gurus, from Diksha Gurus, from Maharajas, from everybody, from senior acharyas. That's all because of the intelligence which is given. So how we are getting that intelligence? That intelligence itself is coming from Brahma. Is the Adhisthana Devata, okay, for our intelligence. Okay. So moving to the next sloka. After that, the heart of the gigantic form separately manifests itself, and it into enter the moon demigod with partial mental activity. Thus, the living entity can conduct his mental speculation. Means here heart, okay, which we call it as a man or mind as well. So, who is the Adhishthan Devata for this heart? Moon is very important. So, our mind is very important, right? So for that mind, Adhisthana Devata is moon. Okay, I'm further moving on. Okay, for this particular sloka, 25th sloka has a purport. Also has a purport. Let us see that. Sorry. Yeah. So thereafter, the materialistic ego of the gigantic form separately manifested itself, and into it entered Rudra, the controller of false ego, with his own partial activities, by which the living entity transacts his objective actions. So what is this? Who is Adhisthana Devata for materialistic ego? Rudra is a Devata. Okay, Adhisthana Devata for our false ego or materialistic ego, whatever we think of. Okay. So now there is a further explanation is given by Prabhupada here on the puppet. Let us understand more this. The false ego of materialistic identity is controlled by demigod Rudra, an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Rudra is an incarnation of Supreme Lord, okay, who controls the mode of ignorance with the material nature. So even our false ego needs to be controlled. At some point of time, false ego should wiped off. So, but overall for the false ego, who is controlling is Rudra. Okay. And that is the incarnation of Lord Shiva. The activities of false ego are based on the objective of the body and mind. So the activity of false ego, most of the times the false ego is works based on what? Our objective of this body and mind. Somebody may have highest level of false ego. Somebody may not having that level of false ego. If a devotee, so his false ego is always controlled. So it depends upon based upon what? His body and mind. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning. The most persons conducted by the false ego are controlled by Lord Shiva. When one reaches the final version of ignorance, he falsely thinks of himself as a supreme Lord. This is very important. When one reaches the final version of ignorance, he falsely thinks of himself as a supreme Lord. This is what is going on in this world today. Everybody sometimes like Mayavadis thinks that they himself is a supreme Lord. That is what Prabhupada is saying, that reaches the final version of ignorance. The egoistic conviction of the conditioned soul is the last state of illusionary energy, which controls the entire material world. So at some point of time, if Jiva thinks himself is a supreme, That is the last sneer of the Maya, that of the illusion energy. That is what is Prabhupada is telling here. He is warning. Please never think that you yourself is a supreme Lord. No. See, even though here the Shiva incarnation, Rudra is the incarnation of Shiva. Okay, he is of the controlling our false ego, but the Shiva or Rudra are never into false. They were never into ignorance. They are always into Sattvaguna. Okay, Rudra or Shiva are into Sattvaguna, but they are controlling our false ego. That is what we need to understand here. Hope everybody is clear with this. Okay, I can move on. So because now we have closed around 5-6 closes. Is my voice is clear? Is my pace is good? Can somebody please confirm, Prabhuji or Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Raman. Going to the next sloka. Thereafter, when his consciousness is separately manifested itself, the total energy Mahatattva entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge. So we have a conscious, no? It's like this organization itself is ISKCON. ISKCON means Krishna consciousness. This Krishna consciousness, the overall the consciousness of a person is being controlled by a um, called Mahatattva. Mahatattva is also another Devata, controlling Devata here. That is what is being told here in 26th sloka. Sanjay Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, are you sharing screen something? Or
Yeah, I'm sharing screen. Are you not able to see?
maybe I'm okay. Others can see?
Yes, Prabhu. We are able to see. At least I am able to see.
Yes, Prabhuji, visible.
But it's
Okay.
still in the Rudra, Prabhu. The
Okay, Prabhuji.
25th purport is there, Prasad, Prabhu.
I am sharing a PowerPoint slide. Okay. If you want, I can stop share again, start share. Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, you can do that too.
Okay, let me try that. Okay. I will share again. So now I am sharing this entire screen, Prabhu. Okay. Hope if
Yes,
it
Prabhuji.
helps
Yeah, now it's
everyone.
visible. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Maybe
Thank you
there
so
is some problem. Okay. Hope everybody is able to see again now. Okay. So now we just completed this Rudra. Okay. Okay. Now we are seeing that 26 loka. Okay. Thereafter, when his consciousness separately manifested itself, the total energy, Mahatattva, entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge. So we are at a conscious, right? That conscious Devata, Adhishtan Devata is Mahatattva. That is what is being told here. Now moving to 27th sloka. Thereafter, from the head of gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested, and from his legs, the earthly planets, and from his abdomen, the sky separately manifested themselves. Here, it is not like overall gigantic form he is explaining here. Excuse me. Hare Krishna. From the head of gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested. From the head, okay, heavenly planets. From his legs, earthly planets. This is overall Vishwarupa is telling here. And from his abdomen, sky separately manifested themselves. Within them, the demigods and others are also manifested in terms of modes of material nature. That is what is being told here. Now here I have summarized. Now we've been learning all these things. Okay, the demigods from the universal form, manifestation of different demigods from the universal form. Overall, in these slokas, we have got around 15 demigods being explained. 15 Adhisthana Devatas been explained from the last 15 slokas. So here I have given a summary of all the demigods, and they are responsible for who. Okay, what is the organ? Who is the controlling deity for that? And what is the subtle sense organ? And what is the use of that particular organ is being explained here. It's like a summary slide for all 15 slokas. Okay, which you have seen before from 10 to 27. Okay, different demigods being explained. Now coming to here, the sloka number 26, which is being talked about Moth, which is controlling deity is fire. And then what is that use? You are going to have a voice. And then how do you use? Express oneself in words. The next one is palate. Palate is something like a upper part of our mouth. This is what is palate. So that for that is Adhisthana Devata is Varuna. And then subtle organ which is used for that is tongue. And then by using overall this particular part, okay, we taste everything. And the next one is nostrils. Nostrils which you are seeing, which I'm showing here, nostrils. Okay, who is Adhisthana Devata for nostrils? Ashwini Kumaris. Ashwini Kumaris. And then what is a subtle sense organ which is grahana? We take the smell, and then to smell the aroma of everything. The next one is eyes. So who is the Adhisthana Devata for eyes? Surya Bhagavan. And then by using that, what do you do? We see eyesight, okay, and we see different forms. I don't know whether you know it or not. When I was young, like if somebody do not have a proper eye vision, so we've been asked to tell, go and do Surya Namaskara every day. That time I didn't know, like if I do not have a proper eye vision, like why we should do the Surya Namaskara every day, morning or afternoon, evening, whenever you see sun. So I give, but like I never, I could never connect. Okay, if I don't have, I have a problem with my eyes, why should I connect to sun? Okay, why I should do Namaskara to Surya? Now I realized, because for my for everyone's eyes, the Adhisthana Devata is Surya. And then if you please Surya, automatically your eyesights will improve. But ultimately we understood from Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, for everything Supreme Personality of the Godhead is the one who is controlling all demigods. So if you please him, everyone is pleased. That is what I realized after reading Bhagavad, after started studying Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Okay. So the skin, there is a wind god Anila. Okay. And then this is for touch. Okay. And then ears. Dik Devatas. For ears, we have a Adhisthana Devatas, which we call it as a Dik Devatas. That is for hearing principle. Okay, to hear different sounds. And for skin, okay, it is personified. Okay, and hairs on the skin, that is Roma. Then by using this, itching and happiness due to touch. That is what we see. And there is a difference here, gross skin and actual skin. And there is something seems like separate here. Okay. And genitals, we have a Prajapati. Okay, and by using the genitals, like one, sex pleasure can be enjoyed. Okay, evacuating chan. Okay, everybody has that, and even for that we have one Adhisthana Devata Mitra. Okay, which is what organ for evacuation. So by using that we can pass a stool. And hands, we just read. Hands what? Indra, the hands which perform buying and selling. Okay, which we do transaction. For legs, we just seen Vishnu, but who is not a supreme person of the Godhead, and the actual Devata name is Vishnu, but like another name also we have Upendra. Okay, which is feet, and we move. And intelligence, we just realized Brahma is the Adhisthana Devata, and we through that we understand. And heart, and we said moon, which is Man also. Mental activity can conduct a mental speculation, various other things we do. Okay, and mental ego also we said, right, false ego or Rudra. Self-identification, it's me. Okay, it is done by me, this presentation be paid by me. Okay, that kind of mindset or thought process will be there, right? That is self-identification, transaction of object to action. And then finally consciousness, that is the total energy, Mahatattva. And then conscious part, which is also called as chitta, and able to conceive a specific knowledge. So when we are understanding this shastra, okay, means we should have a certain consciousness. So that consciousness, who is controlling? This is Mahatattva, is the controlling deity for that. So hope this summary is useful for you, for all of us. Okay, so with your permission, can I enter into the section 3, Prabhuji's Matajis? I'll just take a pause here. Can somebody confirm we are good?
Yeah, Prabhuji, one question. Indra is also Devta of rain?
Varun. For rain, Varun.
Rain.
So for tongue, Varun. Indra also has a separate thing. Even though he is head for overall.
For rain, for
बारिश
के लिए बोल रहा हूँ मैं. For rain.
हाँ, बारिश के लिए
Varun. We hear it in the story,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Indra
Varuna.
was upset
Varuna.
and then
Varuna only, but Varuna actually, but overall controller is Indra. Okay. See, it is something like this. A chief minister is there, and then for every prime minister has a portfolio. Okay. Somebody is a finance minister, somebody is a home minister, somebody is a education minister. So Varuna is a in charge for rain, but overall the portfolio head is Indra. But here what we are discussing is slightly different. In our body, okay, who is helping us to act in our body from the universal form? That is what we are discussing. So, Sunil Prabhu, you got it right. Yeah. From
A little
our body, we are
confusing.
talking.
No, that's okay. But
He,
Indra is also doing two things. What you're saying, that he's overall in charge for, like, I don't know for whom, but Varun, I'm supposing, and he's
Indra
also
is
Devta
no,
of
Indra
hands.
is overall in charge for all devatas. Okay,
All the
for the
Devtas.
administration
Okay.
act, all the
And
devatas,
and
all the
he
devatas.
also has an individual capacity to do certain things, which is the hands, for the hands.
Correct, correct. For us, for
For
Jivas, for Jivas.
yeah.
This particular slide and last yesterday part 2 and today's part 2, we are talking about the grasa organs which the living entities has. Who is the deity is controlling those? That is what we are discussing from the universal form. You got it right. So if you
Okay.
see, all these are organs of the living entity, and then deities, and then purpose. I'm not sure if you remember. Okay, I do remember saying that if especially eyes problem, Surya Namaskar
Yeah.
you do,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
ear problem, take Devatas. I heard this. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
Indra, a little confusing
and
was with
intelligence also
Indra
I heard.
because.
Intelligence
Hmm.
also I heard.
Hmm.
Okay, but even these hands, Indra is the controlling deity. Even I heard first time in this
Hmm.
Bhagavatam only.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I also heard first time. And Rudra also to some extent I heard before. Okay, that he's controlling our tamogun, ego.
Hmm.
Okay, Prabhu. But he
Right.
is
Right.
not in ego. He is not in tamogun. He is in sattvagun only. But
Hmm.
he is been responsible to control our tamogun. Okay, Prabhu.
Hmm. Rudra is Shiva.
Okay. Rudra is an incarnation of Shiva.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Can I move on, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. So this is a summary of all 15 controlling deities. Okay, and the detailed information and summary information is given here. Okay. Okay. So with this, we are entering into section 3. So I'll just go back and summarize what is that we have discussed in section 1 and 2. In section 1, we have discussed development of gigantic universal form that we have discussed. Mr. Dasraj Prabhu has explained this. And then today we continued manifestation of different demigods. It started yesterday and we have completed. Okay. Different demigods appeared when their respective locations are differentiated from Virat Rupa. And then how each demigod is helping us, okay, in our body, that is being discussed through this summary slide. Now we are entering into section 3. Let us understand what is section 3. Section 3 is development of planets. Now we have planets, right? So how it happened, and living entities and varnas. These particular points we discussed. So mainly it has two parts. One is plenary, the planetary systems and their residents. Okay, we have planetary systems, right? Like at a high level, we can say three categories. Okay, so one is at lower, one is at middle, another one is at upper. Okay, three planetary systems we have at a high level. If you divide the 14 planetary systems, that there is a information is given in 27 to 29 in three slokas, 27, 28, 29, three slokas, and 30 to 34 at four slokas, and four varnas is given. So four varnas we know: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. It has been clearly explained who each of these varna is responsible for what. What is that they have to do? That is being discussed in four slokas. So that is with the section 3. So now we are entering into section 3. Okay. So this section 3 is divided into two parts. The first part we are seeing three plenary systems and their residents. That is what we are seeing the first section. Okay, let us start with 27th sloka. Okay, so from the head of gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested. Yeah. So from his legs, earthly planets. And his abdomen, the sky separately manifested themselves. See, Virat Rupa's head is heavenly planets. Okay, what is heavenly planets? We can call it as a Svargaloka. One of the heavenly planet is Svargaloka, or manifested. And from his legs, earthly planets. And from his abdomen, the sky is separately manifested themselves. Within them, the demigods and other also were manifested in terms of modes of material nature. Depending upon the modes of the material nature, the demigods also came. That is what is being told in 27. 27th is very high level. He's just saying Virat Rupa. So, ऊपर से uh, ऊपर से is like upper planets. नीचे from earth and the down planets. That is what at a high level it is been covered in 27th sloka. Then here more detail is being given. Okay, 28th sloka. So let us read the translation. The demigods, qualified by the super excellent quality of the mode of goodness, are situated in heavenly planets, whereas the human beings, because their nature, the mode of passion, live on the earth in the company with their subordinates. So here he's telling that uh, Vyas Maharshi and Prabhupada are explaining us that demigods are sitting in where? Okay, heavenly planets, right? So how they are able to sit in the heavenly planets? Because of their super excellent quality of mode of goodness. And whereas human beings, we have mode of passion. Because of that, we are in this earth, okay, with our subordinates. That's what is being told here. Okay, hope that is very easy only. Okay, so let us understand the puppet. Okay, 1 second. This bar is here killing me. So let me put this bar somewhere else. Moving. Okay. Okay. Fine. I'm able to move the bar. Let's move. Okay. So key points from the purpose. So in Bhagavad Gita 14.14 and 14.15, it is said that those who are highly developed in the mode of goodness are promoted to the higher and heavenly planetary systems. And those who are overpowered by the mode of passion are situated in middle planetary systems, the Earth and similar planets. See here, see it is very simple. If somebody is saying 14, individual will be there. And somebody says 3, and then upper, mid, and niche. Okay, 3 modules will come. So ours is like more of like a mid. But if somebody is telling only 2, upper part and lower part, ours will automatically come into the lower part. Here, the explanation is given saying that because Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are highly developed in the mode of goodness are promoted to the higher. If you have only goodness, means so much of sattva only, then you automatically shifted to the higher and heavenly planetary systems. And those who are overpowered by the mode of passion, okay, rajagun, then we are in this middle planetary, the earth and the similar planets. These earth are similar planets. But those who are surcharged with the mode of ignorance, means tamogun, are degraded to the lower planetary systems or to the animal kingdom. So we may go to animal kingdom, somebody may go to animal kingdom or go to the lower planetary systems based upon the level of tamogun. The demigods are highly developed in the mode of goodness and thus they are situated in heavenly planets. Okay, but human beings, but below the human beings are animals. Although some of them mingle with the human society, like cows, horses, dogs, etc., are habituated to the living under the protection of human beings. But they are in tamoguna, maybe some level of tamoguna. If the tamoguna crosses, then so and so person goes to further the species of animals or further down down planets. Okay, so the word here, okay, atyatikena is being used. Okay, see here what is being used. Atyatikena means excessive, is very significant in this verse. By the development of mode of goodness of material nature, one can become situated in the heavenly planets. So if somebody wants to sit in heavenly planets, okay, one should have so much of tamogun. Okay. By the excessive development, one second. Not able to move this. By the excessive development of mode of passion, by excessive development of mode of passion and ignorance, the human being includes in killing the animals who are meant to be protected by the mankind. Ideally, mankind should protect the animals. Okay, the persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed in the modes of passion and ignorance, have no hope of advancing mode of goodness. They are destined to the degraded to the lower status of the life. So here Prabhupada is clearly giving is a strong warning. If somebody is killing the animals, okay, but supposed to we humans supposed to protect, what is going to happen? Okay, so they will stuck with the mood of passion and ignorance and no hope of coming to mood of goodness. If we continue doing so, that is what is being told here, they are destined to be degraded to the lower status of life. Okay, the plenary systems are calculated as upper and lower in terms of classes of living entities who live there. So Prabhupada is very clearly warning, if we still were not coming out of this killing of animals or still not able to come out, and then Prabhupada warning should help us and we should all pray to come out of this. Okay. Any questions, Prabhuji's, Mataji's on this? Hopefully this is straightforward and we all know. Even through SSR also we learn this particular thing. Okay. So I will move on. So the next sloka. Okay, moving to sloka number 29. Living entities who are associates of Rudra. Who are associates of? This is very important. Living entities who are associates of Rudra develop in the third mode of material nature or ignorance. They are situated in the sky between the earthly planets and heavenly planets. So who associate with Rudra? Okay, who has developed with lot of tamogun, and here it is been told that okay, they will live in this they situated in the sky between the earthly planets and heavenly planets. They will be somewhere. Okay, so here the property is being mentioned. Acharya is telling this is very important. The middle portion of the sky is called Bhuvarloka, but this is Bhu. But above to this, there is something like Bhuvarloka, as confirmed by both Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti and Srila Jeva Goswami. The Bhagavad Gita is stated that those who develop in the mood of passion are situated in the middle region. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness are promoted to the region of demigods. This is very clear. Those who are situated in the mode of passion are placed in human society. If you continue having this kind of passion, we may continue coming to this human society. Those who are situated in mode of ignorance are placed in the society of animals or ghosts. This is what it is. Ignorance, then it comes to animals or ghost. And there is no contradiction in his conclusion. Prabhupada is further confirming. You continue have the ignorance, then this is going to continue. That is what is Prabhupada is warning here. Numerous living entities are distributed all over the universe. So universe has so many planets. So numerous living entities are distributed all over the universe in different planets and are so situated in terms of their own qualities in the mode of material nature. We've been promoted to Swargaloka, it's because of our goodness. We've been promoted to Adhamaloka, it's because of our ignorance. Continue taking the birth of human, that is because of our passion. So let us decide what you want, where you want to go, or to go back to Godhead by breaking all these three and then have Suddha Sattva Guna. That is what is required. Okay. But here it is been talked about these three here. Okay. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Three gunas been discussed here. Okay. Can I move on? Okay. So with this, yes.
We have this 14 planetary system, so we have like the
yes.
And then saying 1/3 or half on the upper planetary system, half lower, and in middle it is Earth. Okay, that's how the descriptive, and that's how I have understood that descriptive, that okay, there is upper planetary system, in middle it is Earth, and then below it is the hellish planets, okay, or lower planetary systems. Now in this it is saying that those who develop the associates of Rudra, and or say in the mode of ignorance, they are in between the earthly and the heavenly planets. So
Yes,
it is a little confusing. They should not be in
it is
the
little
hellish
confusing.
planet.
Correct. But here, I tried to, yeah, I got this particular question, Prabhu, okay, while studying. But I tried to search, okay, why it is like that, okay. But I was maybe we need to find the answer for this, Prabhu, okay. While studying, I also have this question, and I tried to do some
Okay,
research,
no
but I
problem.
could not find the answer, okay, for
Hmm.
that yesterday,
Sure,
okay.
sure, Prabhu. And
Yeah, but
Bhuvarloka
it
is
is very good
different
observation.
from the hellish planet?
Bhuvarloka is different from hellish planets, Prabhu.
No,
Correct.
sorry, not sorry, Bhuvarloka. The the
Bhuvarloka, Prabhu. You are correct. Yeah, this is based. No, yeah, you are correct. Rudraloka is different from Bhuvarloka, Prabhu. You are correct.
yeah.
Shivaloka is different from Bhuvarloka. That is for sure. Okay, because in my previous studies also been explained that Shivaloka is again different. Okay, that over there you have a Sattuguna, but here I think in my understanding, Prabhu, whoever is worshipping Shiva, there are different sorts of people are there. Okay, the one who is worshipping in the guna of sattva, they may reach higher planets or Shivaloka. Okay, but there are some uh, humans who worship Shiva in completely in a ignorance mode. Okay, we can think, for example, like agoras or nagasadhus. Okay, in my understanding, especially agoras, in my understanding, okay, they worship Shiva in ignorance mode. Okay, and lot of tamasic mode, in my understanding, with the previous readings and hearings. So such kind of things, maybe the destination is Bhurloka, but I have not seen the reference, Prabhu. So I'll try to continue and find it out. Yeah,
Sure.
but it is very
Thank
good
you.
observation.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is my understanding, Prabhu. Somebody can worship in Tamogun as well, Satogun, Tamogun as well, Rajogun as well. We can worship. That is what is Bhagavad Gita is saying. Okay, Prabhu. So partially, I have given an answer, but we need to find it out.
Sure,
Okay,
Prabhu.
exactly.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. So we're moving to next section, section 3a. In section 3, we're moving to section 3b. Okay, the 4 varnas. Okay, so we said like what is these varnas, and what is the roles and responsibilities of each varna. Okay, that is being discussed in next 4 slokas in part 3. Okay, now let us try to read it. Anybody wants to read this translation, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Sorry. X30, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom became manifested from the mouth of the Virat, the gigantic form. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are the natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here in this sloka, Brahmanas is being talked here. So the chief of Kuru destiny, the Vedic wisdom became a manifested from the mouth of Virat. Okay, that is gigantic form. Okay, those who inclined in this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas. Okay, and they are natural teachers of the spiritual masters. See what is being explained. So we also heard before. So Brahmanas came from the mouth of Bhagavan, Vishnu. Yes, sir. So that is what is being explained here. So, and they are the ones, they are actually Brahmanas are the natural teachers. Okay, and the spiritual masters, they are the spiritual masters of all orders of our society. Again, Brahmanas doesn't mean that like it is based upon the birth, it is based upon the guna, and that is further explained in this puppet as well. So please do not think that it is based upon the birth of a particular person in the caste of Brahmana. No, Prabhupada has not explained in that way. Okay, so key point from the puppet. So anybody wants to read? Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Purport, Prabhu?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Few points from the puppet.
Okay. Key points from purport. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, the four orders of human society developed with the order of the body of the gigantic form. The bodily divisions are the mouth, arms, waist, and legs. Those who are situated on the mouth are called Brahmanas. Those who are situated on the arms are called Kshatriyas. Those who are situated on the waist are called Vaishyas, and those who are situated on the legs are called Shudras. Everyone is situated in the body of the Supreme in his gigantic Vishwarupa form. In terms of the four orders, therefore, no caste is to be considered degraded because of being situated on a particular part of the body. In our own bodies, we do not show any actual difference in our treatment towards the hands or legs. Each and every part of the body is important, although the mouth is the most important bodily parts. If other parts are cut off from the body, a man can continue his life, but if the mouth is cut off, one can die. One cannot live. Therefore, this most important part of the body of the Lord is called the sitting place of the Brahmanas, who are inclined to the Vedic wisdom. One who is not inclined to the Vedic wisdom, but to mundane affairs, cannot be called a Brahmana, even if he is born of a Brahmana family or father. To have a Brahmana father does not qualify one as a Brahmana. The main qualification of a Brahmana is to be inclined to the Vedic wisdom. The Vedas are situated on the mouth of the Lord, and therefore, anyone who is inclined to the Vedic wisdom is certainly situated on the mouth of the Lord, and he is a Brahmana. This inclination towards Vedic wisdom is also not restricted to any particular caste or community. Anyone from any family and from any part of the world may become inclined to the Vedic wisdom, and that will qualify him as a real Brahmana. A real Brahmana is the natural teacher or spiritual teacher, master. Unless one has Vedic knowledge, one cannot become a spiritual master. The perfect knowledge of the Vedas is to know the Lord, the personality of Godhead, and that is the end of Vedic knowledge or Vedanta. One who is situated in the impersonal Brahman and has no information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead may become a Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master. It is said in the Padma Purana, Satkarma Nipuno Vipra Mantra Tantra Visharadaha Avaishnavo Gururna Sadvaishnava Swapaso Guruhu. An impersonalist can become a qualified Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master unless and until he is promoted to the stage of a Vaishnava or a devotee of the personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya, the great authority of Vedic wisdom in the modern age, stated, Kiba Vipra Kibanyasi Sudra Kene Naya Yei Krishna Tattva Vetta Say Guru Haya. A person may be a Brahmana or a Shudra or a Sannyasi, But if he happens to be well versed in the science of Krishna, then he is fit to be a spiritual master. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8.1 to 8. The qualification then of a spiritual master is not to be a qualified Brahmana, but to be well versed in the science of Krishna. One who is conversant with Vedic wisdom is a Brahmana, and only a Brahmana who is a pure Vaishnava and knows all the intricacies of the science of Krishna can become a spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful reading, Mataji. Thank you very much. Hari Bol. There are so many important points came up in this particular purport. One is, see, it is being told like we have four varnas came from four parts of the body, but doesn't mean that like one particular varna is important, right? For example, our legs are paining. Will you not go and visit the hospital? Will you? If hands are paining, will you not go? If the okay, and if head is paining, will you not go to hospital? Yes, we do go. Even every part of our body, we treat it as its mind, correct? So in the same way, okay, entire body is important. That is what is been Prabhupada is telling here. In terms of four orders, therefore, no caste is to be considered degraded. Cannot consider any caste or varna is degraded because of being situated in a particular part of the body. In our own body, we do not show any actual difference of our treatment towards our hands or legs. Okay, even if you have the legs have the problem, we treat it immediately. Correct. Each and every part of the body is important. Although the mouth is important of the bodily parts. If other parts are cut off of the body, the man continue life. But if the mouth is cut off, one cannot live. So the Brahmana is very, very important in this society. That is what is being told here by Prabhupada. One who is not inclined to the Vedic wisdom, but to mundane affairs and cannot be called as Brahmana, even if he is born in a Brahmana family. So strong, Prabhupada here. If I just born in a Brahmin family, but I'm not following it, I'm just doing whatever I like, okay, I'm enjoying, then you can't call it as a Brahmana just because you born in a Brahmana's family. No. So to have a Brahmana father does not qualify one as a Brahmana. See how strong Prabhupada. The main qualification of Brahmana is to be inclined to the Vedic wisdom. One should learn the Vedic law, wisdom. The Vedas are situated in the mouth of Lord, and therefore anyone who is inclined to the Vedic wisdom is certainly situated in the mouth of Lord, and he's a Brahmana. Okay, even if one is learning Vedic wisdom, then he's called as a Brahmana. So the inclination towards the Vedic wisdom is also not restricted to any particular caste or community. See how liberal Prabhupada is writing. See, the inclination towards Vedic wisdom. Somebody wants to learn the Vedic wisdom is not restricted. It's because of any particular caste or community. So anyone from any family and from any part of the world may become inclined to Vedic wisdom. And that will qualify him as a real Brahmana. Irrespective of where you born, which part of the world you born, doesn't matter. Then you can call it as a real Brahmana if you are doing the Vedic study. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. A real Brahmana is a natural teacher or a spiritual master. Unless one has a Vedic knowledge, one cannot become a spiritual master. It's not possible for us to become a spiritual master. So unless you have this Vedic knowledge. But here, the perfect knowledge of Vedas is known to the Lord, the person of the Godhead, and that is the end of Vedic knowledge or Vedanta. One who is situated in the impersonal Brahman has no information about the Supreme Person of the Godhead and may become a Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master. Here, Prabhupada is telling every Brahmana is not a cannot become a spiritual master. The reason for that is a Brahmana may stop at a impersonalist, thinking that God do not have a form, but he cannot become a spiritual master. But he may be a Brahmana. That is what is being told here. In fact, that is not what Prabhupada is saying. That is a sloka Prabhupada is quoting from Padma Purana. A impersonalist can become a qualified Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master. Okay, that is what is being told here. Unless and until he is promoted in the stage of Vaishnava or a devotee of the personality of the Godhead. Only a devotee can become a spiritual master. So today we are seeing so many spiritual masters. How many spiritual masters are surrendered to Krishna? Or at least are telling that like you go and surrender to Krishna. Hardly we can see any. There's a lot of programs going on in world today in India, calling it as a Shivratri. So are they all thinking of Krishna or thinking of Supreme Personality of the Godhead? Are they even saying a word, uttering a word to surrender to Lord? No. So how can we call them as a spiritual masters? Lord Chaitanya, the great authority of Vedic wisdom, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has further explained. A person may be a Brahmana or Sudra or a sannyasi. See how liberal Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. A person can be a Brahmana or Sudra or sannyasi, doesn't matter. But if he happens to be well versed with the science of Krishna, then he is fit for becoming a spiritual master. That is what is Chaitanya Charitamrutam Madhya Lila, 8th chapter, 120th sloka is telling. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this. The qualification then of a spiritual master is not to be qualified Brahmana, but to be well versed with science of Krishna. Then you get a qualification to become spiritual master. That is what is being told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Guru Parampara. One who is conversant with the Vedic wisdom as is a Brahman. And only a Brahman who is a pure Vaishnava is known as intrinsic of science of Krishna can become a spiritual master. That is the final summary. Such a wonderful purport, beautiful purport is given by Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So any questions? I will move on. I think there is so much of details, so much of clarity has been given. So what is Brahmana? What is Vaishnava? So who is what? Prabhupada has given so information is so straight, so straight. It's not possible to give much straighter than this. Just one sentence. Anybody wants to confirm? You all happy? Have some understanding?
Yes, Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Who can give this level of mercy, Ram Reddy Prabhu? Is it possible?
Srila Prabhu, yeah.
It's not possible.
And
So
good thing, Prabhu,
Krishna and
everywhere,
clarity.
yeah, everywhere Prabhupada quotes scriptures. Yeah, now he is referring Padma Purana.
Referring Padma Purana, referring Chaitanya, not like his own philosophy. He's quoting and giving us confidence. So where is the shelter for all of us, Prabhu? Other than Prabhupada, there is no other shelter for us. There is no place for us to take the shelter. Absolutely, there is no place for us to take the shelter. As of today, other than Prabhupada. Absolutely no place. Okay, so let me move on. So he has covered all the angles, Prabhuji's Mataji's. So Brahmanas, what qualification? Non-Brahmanas, how can you become a Brahmana? How can you become Vaishnava? Okay. So in all 360 degrees, the Prabhupada is covered in that purport. One single purport. If a Brahmana is not doing a proper duty, this is the consequence. You're not a Brahmana. So straight, so straight. And you will get a qualification of Vaishnava when you surrender to Krishna. Go and tell about Krishna to others. Then you get a qualification. It is like a flowchart kind of thing is given. Prabhupada has given in that sloka. Okay, Haribol. Let's move on. 2.6, the 31, Kshatriya. Thereafter, the power of protection was generated from the arms of genetic vital form. Arms. Okay. And in relation to such power, the Kshatriyas also came into the existence by following Kshatriya principle of protecting society from the disturbance of the thieves and miscreants. That is what is a Kshatriya do. So Prabhuji's Mataji's, believe it or not, while I'm preparing the presentation, I try to cut off some sentences, but simply not possible. If I remove any single sentences, it is not becoming, the purport is not coming as a complete Purnam. So I could not cut even a single sentence from the purport. So I just organized into some bullet points. That's it. Even I try to one word, one sentence, it's not coming complete, and it's not becoming a complete. That's all. So I could not remove even a single word from the purport. That is how the Prabhupada written purports. It's not even a one sentence extra, one word extra. Okay, one word something extra is given, or one word less he has given. No, everything is perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, key points from the purport. As a Brahmin, as the Brahmins are recognized by the particular qualification of inclination towards the transcendental knowledge of Vedic wisdom. So also the Kshatriyas are recognized the power to protect society from the disturbing elements of the thieves and miscreants. The word, okay, Anuvrat means followers is the significant. A person who follows the Kshatriya principles by protecting the society from the thieves and miscreants is called Kshatriya. It's very clear. Definition is very clear. And not the one who is simply born in Kshatriya family. I just born in Kshatriya family, so now I call it as a Kshatriya. No, Prabhupada is telling no. Are you doing this? So our soldiers are doing this. Soldiers are protecting India, Bharat. So they are Kshatriyas. Okay. So the concept of the caste system always based on the quality and not qualification of the birth. Prabhupada is very clear. Okay. Not qualification of the birth, but quality. What quality you have? That is very important. What guna you are? That's very important. Birth is the extraneous consideration. It is not the main feature of the orders of the divisions. Orders and divisions. No. Bhagavad Gita 18.41 and 44 is also explaining the qualifications of the Brahmana, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras are specifically mentioned, and it is understood that all such qualifications are needed before one can be designed as belongs to the particular group. The Lord has the power to protect. The Lord has the power to protect of three deities, okay, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. The first has the power to create, Brahma has the power to create, and the second has power to protect. Vishnu has power to protect, and the third has the power to destroy. That is Maheshwara. The word Purusha is significant in this verse, whereas Kshatriyas are expected to see here, the very important. The word Purusha is a significant in this verse because Kshatriya was expected to represent Purusha Lord is giving protection to the Prajas, are those who born in the land and water. Means what is being told here is Vishnu is actually protecting us, correct? So king Kshatriyas also who are, what is their role? They are protecting us. So what is being told here, one of the very important thing is Kshatriyas are representing Purushas, Purusha Amsas. Okay, king is like a Purusha Amsa. Who are can every king can be called? He is protecting us. That is very important. And there is another thing came which is very, very important. Protecting not only humans, protection is therefore meant for both men and animals. That is very important. A king, a ruler, what is his role? Protecting man and animals, both he has to do. In modern society, the prajas are not protecting from the hands of thieves and miscreants. They are not doing okay. In modern democratic state, which has no kshatriyas, in government of our government is only Vaishyas and Sudras, filled with the Vaishyas and Sudras, and not Brahmanas or Kshatriyas. As formerly, today democratic world do not have Kshatriyas. They only has Vaishyas and Sudras. That is what is Prabhupada is explaining here. Maharaja Yudhishthira and his grandson Maharaja Parikshit were typically Kshatriya kings. And they gave protection to all men and animals. Okay. So when they gave, what is the example? What is the example that Maharaj Parikshita gave protection to the animal? Let us see that. When the personified Kali, there is example, Prabhupada is explaining here, which we have seen in the previous chapter, first canto we have seen. When the personification of Kali attempted to kill a cow, Maharaja Parikshit at once prepared himself to kill the miscreant. And the personified of Kali was banished from his kingdom. He banished from his kingdom. This is the sign of Purusha. He is the representative. He is the representative of Lord Vishnu. Okay, Maharaja Yudhishthira, Maharaja Parikshit are the representative of Lord Vishnu. Okay, according to Vedic civilization, a qualified Kshatriya, okay, monarchy is given the respect of Lord because he represents the Lord by giving the protection to the prajas. Modern elected presidents cannot give protection from the theft cases, and therefore one has to take the protection from the insurance company. We are taking the protection from insurance company, right? Term insurance companies were paying, correct? And for health insurance company, health insurance we are paying. That time only Prabhupada has written. We are taking the protection from insurance companies. in 1969. Okay. So the problem of modern human society is due to the lack of qualification of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Okay. Today's main problem in the society is because lack of qualified. We don't have qualified Brahmanas. Don't have qualified Kshatriyas. And over influence of too much influence everywhere. Vaishyas only, Sudras are so-called general. 1 second. Okay. So Kshatriyas are all influenced by Vaishyas and Sudras are so-called general franchise. Everywhere you see Sudras or Vaishyas only. That is what is Prabhupada is explaining about Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas qualifications. Just born in a Kshatriya family, can't call it a Kshatriya. Okay. So I'm moving to Vaishyas. Hope it is very clear and straightforward. Okay. Vaishyas. So the means of livelihood of a person, namely the production of grains and their distribution to the prajas, was generated from the tithes of large gingetic farm. Vaishyas from tithes of large gingetic farm. The mercantile men who take the charge of such execution is called Vaishyas. So what is the main? Okay, production and distribution. What is production? Grains production and the distribution and also co-production. That is the main responsibilities of Vaishyas. That is what been told here. So let's understand. Anybody wants to read the puppet? Key points from the puppet quickly.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Yeah, please go ahead, Ramred.
Yeah, key points from purport. Human society's means of living is clearly mentioned here as
Vaishya.
Vaishya.
Yeah.
Okay. Or agriculture and the business of distributing agriculture products, which involves transport, banking, etc. Industry is an artificial means of livelihood, and large-scale industry especially is the source of all the problems of society. In Bhagavad Gita also, the duties of the Vaishyas who are engaged in a Vaisya are stated as cow protection, agriculture, and business. We have already discussed that the human being can safely depend on the cow and agriculture land for his livelihood. The Brahmanas are the teachers and spiritual masters. The Kshatriyas protect the citizens from the hands of thieves and miscreants, and the Vaishyas are in charge of production and distribution. The Shudras, the unintelligent class of men who cannot act independently in any of the above mentioned activities, are meant for serving the three higher classes for their livelihood. Formerly, Brahmanas were given all the necessities of life by the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas because they had no time to spend making a living. The Kshatriyas would collect taxes from the Vaishyas and Shudras. Brahmanas were exempt from paying income tax or land revenue. That system of human society was so nice that there were no political, social, and economical upheavals. The different caste or Varna classifications are therefore essential for maintaining a peaceful human society. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Ramred Prabhu, very nice reading. Thank you very much. So it's very clear. Okay. So who are being producing and also distributing? Okay, that community or that Varna is Vaishya Varna. So Brahmanas, see here, very important. Brahmanas were given all necessity of the life by Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. So Brahmanas being fed by for their living by Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Okay, because they had no time for spending and making. They should not focus on their living. They should learn the Shastra and teach the Sloka and give the direction for Kshatriyas and Vaishyas and Shudras. So the Kshatriyas would collect the taxes from both Vaishyas and Shudras, but the Brahmanas were exempt for paying the income tax because they don't generate revenue by themselves. They focus study. That is what they learn the Shastra. That is what they focus. The system of the human society was so nice. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Okay, that were no political, social, and economical upheavals. The different castes of Varna classifications are therefore essential for maintaining the peaceful human society. You will have a lot of peace in that way. That is what is Prabhupada is telling. Okay, let's move on quick. Sudras. Okay, thereafter, the services was manifested from the legs of personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function situated in the legs of Sudras who satisfy the Lord's service. Now, service is the real constitutional occupation of all living entities. See, what is a Sudra? Sudra is supposed to serve all remaining three categories. But Prabhupada is highlighting that service. It's very important. Prabhupada is saying service is the actual real constitutional occupation of all living entities. Not only Sudra, every living entity responsibility is just to serve. So Brahmana is serving by preaching. Kshatriya is also doing service by protecting. Vaishya is also serving by producing and distributing. Sudra is serving all three categories, all the remaining three categories. So the full and so responsibility is just serving. That is our true nature. That is what is Prabhupada is emphasizing here. The living entities are meant to render the service to the Lord, and they can attain religious perfection by serving attitude, by the service attitude. One cannot attain the religious perfection simply by speculating to attain the theoretical knowledge. The Jnani division of spiritualists go on speculating only to distinguish the soul from matter. Somebody is a speculator, he's just doing speculating. What is the soul? What is this? He's not doing anything. He or she not doing anything, only speculating. Okay, that is what is Jnani. But they have no information about the activities of soul after being liberated. If once is liberated, what is the purpose of the soul? They don't have that understanding. That is what is Prabhupada is saying. But the soul is to serve the Supreme Soul, Supreme Person of the Godhead. It is said that the person who only mentally speculate to know things as they are and who do not engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord are simply wasting the time. If you're not involving in the serving Supreme Person, you're simply wasting time. So Prabhupada is so strong. Ideally, after liberation, what we supposed to do, we're doing it now. What is it after liberation? What is that? So the Supreme. Now, even though in this conference meeting, how many are liberated souls? Maybe we are not. But still, what is that we are doing? We are doing like a liberated soul. That is what is the greatness of the sadhana. Okay. So it is clearly, but maybe the intensity may not like a liberated soul, but we are trying to do in that path. That is what is more important. So if you're not doing that, we're simply wasting the time. That is what Prabhupada is saying. It is clearly said here that the principle of service was, it is clearly said that the principles of service was generated from the legs of Lord for the sake of perfecting the religious process. To making this, okay, religious process, this came from the legs, he's telling. Okay, but this transcendental service is different from the idea of service in the material world. Okay, in the material world, you tell me, no one wants to be a servant. In material world, anybody wants to become a servant? No, right? We all want promotions, right? Okay, in the material world, nobody wants only sitting at a leaf level, doing only cleaning job, right? So material world is different. Servant. Everyone wants to become a master because the false membership, mastership is the basic disease in this conditional soul. The conditioned soul is the conditioned soul in the material world wants to lord it over the others. That is what his material world wants. Illusioned by the external energy of the Lord, he is forced to become servant. See here, very important. Illusioned by the external energy of the Lord, he is forced to become a servant of the material world. Finally, you've been promoted. What happened? Are you free from a servant? No. You're serving your boss. Maybe your boss got changed because you promoted, but still you are serving. You're serving some other stakeholders. You've been promoted. Okay. But still, what is that we are doing? We're still serving. You like it or you don't like it. In material world, you bring Krishna or you do not bring Krishna. You're serving only. So it is our choice. You want to serve Maya or you serve Krishna. So our nature has not changed. Because you don't want to serve, so Krishna has just flipped. Now you serve Maya. At some point of time, you realize that you want to serve Krishna. Simple. You realize that and serve Krishna. That is what we all have to do. That is what is Prabhupada's teachings. You are just serving Maya, so now you start serving Krishna. That serving is not going to change for you. That is a real position of a conditioned soul. The last snare of illusion, external energy of the conception, is becoming one with the Lord. That is what we think. I will become one with Lord. And due to this conception, the illusion soul remains the bondage of material energy, falsely thinking of himself as a liberated soul, as good as Narayana. Okay, that is the last near. Okay, let's move on to the last para. Okay, it is actually better to be Sudra. See, Prabhupada is going very strong. It is actually better to be a Sudra than to be a Brahmana and not develop the service attitude. If the service attitude is not, better be Sudra. How the service attitude? That is more better than the Brahmana. Because the attitude alone satisfies the Lord. The service attitude itself alone satisfies the Lord. Every living being, even if he's a Brahman by qualification, must take this transcendental service of the Lord. Both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam support the service attitude. Is perfection of the living entity. A Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya are a perfection in the Vedic wisdom. Okay. The other sections are supposed to follow the direction of Brahmana, Vaishnava. Okay, Brahmana, Vaishnava. One who is a Brahmana by the qualification and Vaishnava by action. Okay, that will make the entire society perfection in regards in order to the social construction. A disordered society cannot satisfy either the members of the society or the Lord. Okay, so our society cannot satisfy the society or the Lord. So even if one is not perfect Brahmana, okay, even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, but one takes the service of the Lord, we are not perfect Brahmana, we are not perfect Kshatriya, we are not perfect Vaishya, or we are not perfect Sudra. But if we take the service of Lord, not caring for the perfection of his social position, I'm not caring for my social position. He becomes a perfect human being simply by developing the attitude of service to the Supreme Lord. If you have, I have put it in green and bold. If you have this attitude of perfect, okay, simply developing the attitude of service to the Supreme Lord, you become a perfect human being. If you develop that attitude of serving Supreme Person of the Godhead, okay, but takes the service of the Lord, not caring the perfection of his position. Don't worry about your position. But if you have that developing the attitude to service the Supreme Lord, and you become automatically perfect in this life. That is what is Prabhupada is giving assurance. So how nice it is. See this wonderful, wonderful Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So with this now we have completed section 3. We are entering into section 4. Okay. Hopefully we all good with the section 3. So I'm moving to section 4. So what is this section 4 is talking here? Maitreya Muni felt unworthy to describe his Lord's unlimited glories. So Maitreya Maharshi Muni, he said like, I cannot glorify, I'm not worthy to even to describe the Lord's unlimited glories. Okay, and also he says that, but still one should glorify him. That is what is being told by Maitreya Maharshi. So I think we have around 6 slokas here. Let's try to complete quickly as quickly as possible. Okay, translation. Oh Vidra, who can estimate? Who can estimate? He's telling to Vidra. Oh Vidra, who can estimate or measure the transcendental time, work, and potency of gigantic form manifested by the internal potency of the Supreme Person of the Godhead? No one can estimate the potency of Virat Swarupa. That is what is being told, being telling here. Okay, so what are the key points? See, the froggish philosophers may go on with their mental speculations on the subject matter of the Virat, the gigantic form exhibited by the Yogamaya, internal potency of the Supreme Person of the Godhead. So people will try, foolish philosophers will try to measure it, okay, of this universe length, width, and all that. Doesn't possible. That is what is Prabhupada is telling here. But factually, no one can measure such a vast exhibition. In Bhagavad Gita 11:16, Arjuna recognized the devotee of the Lord says that Aneka Bahuttara Vakta Netram Pashyami Tvam Sarvato Nanta Rupam Natam Nantam Na Madhyam Na Pustavadim Pashyami Visveswara Vishwarupa. Means what he's telling. Oh my Lord, oh gigantic Vishwarupa, oh Master of Universe, I see innumerable hands, bodies, mouth, and eyes in all directions, and they are all unlimited. I cannot find the end of this manifestation. Nor do I see in middle nor in beginning. I can't see what is beginning, what is middle, what is end. I cannot see. I see millions. Okay. Oh, Master, I see innumerable hands, innumerable bodies, innumerable mouth, innumerable eyes in all directions, and they are unlimited. I cannot find the end of this manifestation. That is what is being explained by Arjuna when he has seen Virat Rupa in 11th chapter when he has seen. So Bhagavad Gita was specifically spoken to Arjuna, and Vishwarupa was exhibited before him at his request only. Correct? He requested, he wants to see. Okay. He was awarded this specific eyes to see Vishwarupa. Correct, right? He has given a chakshu. Jnana chakshu has been given to see Vishwarupa. Although he was able to see the Lord, innumerable hands, mouths, he was unable to see him completely. Since Arjuna was unable to estimate the length and breadth of the potency of the Lord, who else would be able to see? If Arjuna is not able to see, is it possible for us? That is what is Prabhupada is mentioning. One may only indulge in the miscalculations like a frog philosopher. Prabhupada is saying frog philosopher. What frog thinks that he's in a well? He thinks that that is the world. That's the frog philosopher wanted to estimate the length and breadth of the Pacific Ocean. Is it possible? By his experience in the well in 3 cubic feet large. So in a well, okay, 3 cubic meter. So if is possible to measure the Pacific Ocean? Not possible. The frog philosopher wanted to estimate the length and breadth of the Pacific Ocean by his experience of the well, 3 cubic feet large, and thus by he began to puff himself up to become a big as a Pacific Ocean. But as the last burst and died by this process, the frog may die. The philosopher also might die, saying that he is measuring. This story is applicable to the mental philosopher who, under the illusion of the Lord's external energy, frog tried to measure, is jumped into the Pacific Ocean. But it's possible, not possible. It has only experience in the 3 well, cubic large. So the story is applicable to the mental speculators too. Under the illusion of the Lord's external energy, okay, indulge in the estimating of the length and breadth of the Supreme Lord. The best path is to become a cool-headed. Okay, so what is the path? Become a cool-headed, submissive, devotee to the Lord, and try to hear about the Lord from the bona fide spiritual master. Instead of doing all this nonsense, what Prabhupada is saying, have a big cool head and hear from the bona fide spiritual master and surrender to Lord. And thus serve the Lord in a transcendental loving service, as suggested in the previous verses. That is what is Prabhupada is explaining here. Let's move on. 26. Next, 36. In spite of my inability. So he said, like, I cannot glorify. I have been able to hear from his spiritual master, and whatever I could assimilate, I know describing the glorification of the Lord by pure speech. For otherwise, my power of speaking would remain unjust. If he doesn't speak, it becomes unjust. So in his ability, he is trying to glorify. In the same way, we all, with our ability, we should glorify the Lord. That is what he here. Maitreya Muni is telling to Vidura. So it is not possible. I don't have any qualification to glorify, but still I am trying to glorify. That is just his speaking becomes unjust. Otherwise, if he doesn't do that, okay, his speaks becomes unjust. That is the reason he is doing that. Okay, so let's read it quickly. I think 844. Okay. The purification of the conditions of necessity is purification of his consciousness. The conditions of necessity purification. Okay. By the presence of consciousness, the presence of transcendental soul is verified. Okay, verified. As soon as the conscious leaves the body, the material body is not active. Once we leave this body, okay, material body is not active. So consciousness is pursued therefore by the activities. The theory put forward by the empiric philosophers that the consciousness can remain in an inactive state is the proof of their poor fund knowledge. One should not become unjust by stopping the activities of pure consciousness. If the activities of pure consciousness stopped, certainly the conscious living force otherwise engaged, because unless engaged in the consciousness has no stability. Consciousness cannot be silenced even for a moment. When the body does not act, the consciousness acts in form of dreams. Unconsciousness is artificial by induced external help in remains limited period. So, so there is nothing like you can't do, you won't do at any time. You will be always doing something. Yes or no? Is it your mind stop doing something? No, it will continuously do. So what you are doing, do become consciousness. Do something which is related to Krishna. Then automatically your conscience becomes clean. Okay, that is what is Prabhupada is saying. See, Maitreya statement is the order to avoid unchaste conscience. If you are not talking about Krishna, what happens? If you are not listening today, this particular Bhagavatam, what is that you do? You do something else. You search in internet. You Google some nonsense. You do. But instead of that, what is that we are doing? We are reading Bhagavatam, understanding Bhagavatam. That is what Prabhupada is saying here. So Maitreya, okay, statement, in order to avoid unjust conscious activities, he was trying to describe the unlimited glories of the Lord, although he did not have the ability to describe them perfectly. Even though we do not have so much of intelligence, but we are still trying to understand Bhagavatam. At some point of time, we will understand. This glorification of the Lord is not a product of research, but the result of hearing the submissively from the authority of the spiritual master. It is also not possible to repeat all that one has heard in his spiritual master, but one has to narrate as much as possible by one's honest endeavor. That is what is Prabhupada is explaining here. Hear, listen, repeat to the extent possible. If you don't do this, you do something else. If you do something else, then you continue taking birth and death, and we don't know our future life. So Prabhupada is saving us, saving our souls by giving this Bhagavatam to all of us. So I'm moving to next sloka 6.37. The highest perfection gain of the humanity is to engage in discussion of the activities and the glories of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by greatly learned sages that actual purpose of the ear is to serve just by being near them. So what is the service? Hearing is also a kind of service. What is that? We just near to the sage. That is what is Atri Maharshi is telling. That is what is the Maharshi is telling. Maitreya Maharshi is telling us. Here, the highest satisfaction gain of the human society is engage in the discussion of the activities and the glorification of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by greatly learned sages that the actual purpose of the year, what is the purpose of the year? Is to serve just being near them. Keep the near to the sadhu, sages. So the impersonalists are very much afraid of hearing activities. The impersonalists never hear. Have you heard hearing a impersonalist sitting and reading or hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita? No, they only close eyes. I came from such one organization. Okay, so I know what they do. So the impersonalists are very much afraid of hearing the activities of the Lord because they think that happiness derived from the transcendental situation of the Brahman. They just close the eyes and meditate. And from Brahman, they get the happiness, is the ultimate goal of the life. They think that everyone's activity, even that is the personality of the Godhead, is mundane. Even Krishna is doing so many wonders. So even just understanding his Krishna Bali Leelas also they think it is a mundane. But the idea of happiness is indicated that in this verse is different because it relates to the activities of Supreme Personality who has a transcendental qualities. The word Gunavadam is significant because the qualities of the Lord in his activities and pastimes are subject matter, okay, for the discussions and devotees. Okay, a rishi like Maitreya Rishi is certainly not interested in discussing anything pertaining to the mundane qualities. At he says that the highest perfectional stage is the transcendental realization is discuss Lord activities. See, what is that we are doing? Discussing the Lord activities is the highest. That is what Maitreya Rishi is telling. Okay, Srila Jiva Goswami therefore concludes the topics regarding the transcendental activities of the Lords are far beyond the transcendental realization of Kaivalya happiness. Even the Kaivalya happiness, hearing about the Lord, hearing about the Krishna Katha is higher than that. Is what is Srila Jiva Goswami is telling us. Therefore, the transcendental activities of the Lord are so arranged in the writing of great sages that are simply by hearing those narrations, one becomes perfectly self-realized. What is that we have to do? Just listen. Writing the great sages, they have written so much, you just listen perfectly self-realized. You become self-realized. And the proper use of the ear and the tongue is also achieved. So I am saying by using tongue. We all hearing. That is the perfect. That's all. Proper use of ear and tongue. Srimad Bhagavatam is one such great literature, and the highest perfectional state of the life is attained simply by hearing and reciting its content. Okay, I'm moving to the next sloka, 38. Okay, so O son, the original poet Brahma, after mature meditation for 1,000 celestial years, could know only the glories of Supreme Soul are inconceivable. It's not possible even from Brahma. That is what is being telling here. So there are some froggish philosophers who wants to know the Supreme Soul by means of philosophers and mental speculation. And when the devotees, it is not possible even by mental speculators. So Prabhupada has picked up from somewhere. It is said from the Brahma Samhita that the mental speculator may fly through the sky of the speculation. Okay. So with the velocity of the mind, okay, 1,000 million years, and still he will find it inconceivable. It's not possible through our mind. Okay, the devotee, however, do not waste such time searching after the knowledge of the Supreme, but they submissively hear the glories of Lord from the bona fide devotee. Thus, by transcendentally enjoys the process of hearing and chanting. Here, Prabhupada is further explaining, okay, the process of hearing and chanting. So here it is very clearly written from Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 13th and 12th. I think this is 9th chapter. So Mahatma Mahatma nastu mam parda daivim prakriti masriye masritaha bhajantya nanamyatnoso jnata bhuvit dhimavayam satatam kirtayanto mam yatatam sya druravruta. Okay, namasyantasya mam bhaktya nityayukta upasata. See what is being told here. Let us see. The pure devotee of the Lord takes the shelter of the para prakriti, the internal potency of the Lord called Lakshmi Devi or Sita Devi or okay, Srimati Radharani or Srimati Rukmini Devi. That is where a pure devotee take the shelter, and they become the actual Mahatmas or great souls. So our Mahatmas take the shelter of Srimati Radharani. So Mahatmas are do not fond of indulging in mental speculation. They don't do mental speculation, but they actually take the devotional service of the Lord without a slighted deviation. Okay, devotional service is manifested by the primary process of hearing and chanting. So how it is possible? It's only by hearing and chanting about the activities of the Lord. That is what is this particular sloka is saying. Satatam kirtayanto mam etatam sha drudavrata. That is what is Krishna is telling here. Satatam kirtayam. Satatam kirtayam. Always chant. Okay. So it is only through the means of devotional service and no other way. One may go on speculating, waste a valuable time on his human life. Okay, but it will not help anyone to enter into the princiest of the Lord. The Mahatmas, however, are not concerned with the knowing the Lord by the mental speculation because they enjoy hearing. We all enjoy hearing about his glorious activities in his transcendental dealings with his devotees or with his demons. The devotees takes the pleasure in both and happy in the life and life after. Okay, in this life we are happy by hearing Lord's glories. After life after also we are happy. That is what is this particular purport and sloka are telling. Now the next 39th sloka, last but one. The wonderful potency of the Supreme Lord of Godhead is bewildered even to the jugglers. The potency is unknown even to the self-sufficient Lord. It is certainly unknown to the others. Even the potency of the Lord, the wonderful potency of the Supreme Person of the Godhead is bewildered even to the jugglers. The potency is unknown to even to the self-sufficient Lord. Even Lord don't know his potencies. So certainly is unknown to the others. Even so, we don't know. Sometimes Lord potencies, Lord also don't know. That is what he's telling. See, the demigods, Brahma, and even the Lord himself cannot understand the Lord's glories. He is beyond the words and minds and ego. It's beyond words and mind and ego. That is what is particularly this sloka is telling. Okay. Okay. So I'm moving on. So the puppet is written here. So the last puppet. We're running out of time. Okay. 40th sloka. Words, minds, and ego, with their respective controlling demigods, have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer our respective obeisances unto Him as a matter of sanity. The final conclusion, it is not possible. Words, mind, and ego, with their respective controlling demigods, have failed to achieve the success in knowing the Supreme Person of God. No demigod can know simply Person of the Godhead. It's not possible. So simply have to offer our respective obeisances unto Him as a matter of sanity. That's all. Okay. So the froggish calculator may raise the objection that if a absolute varieties of speech, mind, and ego, namely the Vedas, Brahma, Rudra, and all the demigods headed by Brihaspati, then why should the devotees be so interested in this unknown subject? We cannot fully understand God. That is what is being told. The answer is that the transcendental ecstasy enjoyed by the devotee in delineating the pastimes of the Lord is certainly unknown to the devotees and mental speculators. What is it we have to do? We have to hear the pastimes of the Lord. Then what we become? We become ecstasy. Unless one is released the transcendental joy, okay, naturally one will come back to from his speculations and concorded conclusions, because he will see them in neither factual nor enjoyable. The devotee can at least know that absolute truth is a supreme person of the Godhead Vishnu. The Vedic himself confirms. So what is Bhagavad Gita 15.15 is saying? Vedasya sarve ahameva vedyo. By all Vedas, I am to be known is already told in Bhagavad Gita. So simply surrender to Him. Just do, serve, and serve Him. You will get to know everything. So by the culture of Vedic knowledge, one must know the Lord Krishna and should not falsely speculate on whom aham or I. So the only mentioned understanding of the supreme truth is devotional service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.15, what is being mentioned? Bhaktya mame vijñatati yavanaschasi tatvadaha. Only by devotional service one can know that the ultimate truth of personality of the Godhead and the Brahman and Paramatma are only his partial features. Only by devotional service one knows that the ultimate truth of personality of the Godhead. And that is ultimate than the Brahman and Paramatma, which are partial features. Okay. This is confirmed in his words by the great sage Maitreya. With devotion, he offers his sincere surrender. Okay, Namaha, the supreme person of the Godhead Bhagavate. One has to follow his footsteps of great sages. We just need to follow a Maitreya and Vidura and Maharshi Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami and engage the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. If one who knows his ultimate feature, which is above the Brahman and Paramatma, we go back, which is above to Brahman and Paramatma, that is above to his personality of the Godhead. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of third canto, 6th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Creation of Universal Form. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Sorry for getting late for you all. So, but we have read all the purpose and understood to a great extent. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So finally, the conclusion is, do not become a speculator. Okay. Just to do devotional service by hearing and chanting. So you all hearing, you all doing devotional service. And we all chant, so we all do devotional service. That is the conclusion. And then finally you will get to know Supreme Personality of the Godhead. You will reach Him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prasad Prabhuji, for a wonderful session today. And nicely you have prepared a presentation highlighting the main points and all the presiding deities of different different mechanisms in our body. Very nicely explained. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji Maharaj, if you have any questions, supporting comments, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Yeah.
Hare
Wonderful.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu. Yeah. I know, Prabhu, you don't want to miss even one line. That shows like, yeah, you already went through all this, Prabhu. Actually, two questions, Prabhu. One is on the 39th Sloka, Prabhu, the potential power is unknown even to the self-sufficient Lord. How to understand it, Prabhu? Like even Lord doesn't know himself. Sorry, Prabhu, that is here.
That is what is glories of Lord. Lord, because Lord he himself does not glorify himself, right? Okay, he himself do not know his potential. That is what is being told. So he can do anything. That is what is being told.
It is an exaggeration, like it is told. Like
Yeah,
means God knows everything. That's
God
what
knows
we
everything, but yeah,
it's an
it is more of
exaggeration.
exaggeration.
He
He
also
himself doesn't know. Okay, he
but
himself
he
don't
knows
know. Like, yeah, he also don't know his powers, his capabilities. It's more of an exaggeration. Maitreya Maharshi is telling. This particular sloka is more of like in the mood of a caste, but that is a word used, right?
Yes, Prabhu. And another question, Prabhu, in
We
your
don't need to think of so much logical, Prabhu.
sure, Prabhu. Yes, I understood, Prabhu, but just because
Sometimes, do you
sometimes
know our energies, Prabhu? Sometimes, do you know your energy, Prabhu? No, right?
no, Prabhu. Yeah, you are right.
Exactly. You do study till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Again, you wake up at 2 o'clock. Do you know your energies? No. Even I don't know my potential. You don't know your potential. Every individual don't know our potentials. In fact, we say that many philosophers also say that our potential, we are only using 5-6% of our potential. So we ourselves don't know our potential. Yeah. Please proceed, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, that at least clarifies. In one place, Prabhu, I think in your slide you are showing, and also in one of the shlokas, there was one of the preceding duty was Vishnu, and we said he's not supreme personality of Godhead, but it also mentioned Upendra. But Upendra is, I think, Vamana, right, Prabhu? Vamana Dev, because he came as brother of Indra. So he's Vishnu, right, Prabhu? I'm just clarifying it, Prabhu. I just need to
Yeah.
clarify.
The deity, the supreme deity name over there is Vishnu. The name is same as the supreme person of the Godhead, but that you don't need to treat as a supreme person of the Godhead. He's saying it's very clearly mentioned by Prabhupada.
Okay.
The deity, okay, it is like my name so and so. Okay, my name is can be one person name could be Vishnu, no Prabhu, but that
Yes.
doesn't mean that he is supreme person of the Godhead, right? It is just exactly like that. A deity name is okay. Devatas, one Devata name is Vishnu.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Any comments, Prabhuji's, Matajis? I know yesterday Shivaratri and many are must have completely awake and did chanting. Because of that reason, today not many attended Mangalharti and the session. That is much understandable. Any other comments, Prabhuji's, Matajis, before closing? Sorry if I have said anything wrong. Please pardon me. And I need your blessings to make the
Hare Krishna
progress.
Prabhuji. But regarding Varnas and this caste system, but the present society is more inclined to caste. When a child is born in a Brahmana family, though they don't follow anything, he's from a Brahmana only, especially while doing marriages and all, they will certainly see a Brahmana boy, though he is not well versed in this one or anything. No.
Yes.
Or a boy who is other than from a Brahmana family knows everything. He won't eat this non-veg or anything. He knows Vedic system. The parents will not be inclined to give their daughter or son to that person.
Correct.
No, nowadays it is like once the marriage happens between a Brahmana or some other caste, we say intercaste marriage. Isn't
Yes,
it? So mostly it is caste system is prevailing, and those things are happening even now.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah,
Even to
correct.
this.
Yes. But
So the
we should not treat. Okay, many times Prabhupada has mentioned saying that the Varna is different from caste.
Yeah.
Varna is
That's
different from
correct. What
caste.
they have told,
So irrespective of where you are born,
are divided.
okay,
No, Krishna himself is Varna,
based
but
upon
they're not followed. They're not followed.
based upon Varna, you pick up your job. In fact, when we go to a Gurukul, like Gurukul, our Guru used to observe us. Okay, so which mode he is in, based upon that, like he used to suggest us. So that is the reason we all in Krishna consciousness, okay, we understand this concept and follow it to the extent possible. That's all we can do. And give this knowledge to everyone, whoever, give Bhagavad Gita and distribute Bhagavad Gita and preach Bhagavad Gita and request everybody to read Bhagavad Gita and understand this knowledge. As Prabhupada mentioned, everybody will not come to diamonds. Even though you ask, reading like Bhagavad Gita is like taking a diamond. But everybody cannot afford to buy diamonds. Right? That is what Prabhupada also mentioned. But we should try our level best to the extent possible. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. If no other comments,
Yeah.
Raju Prabhu, any other? Can close the call, Praveen Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can close the call now. Thank you very much for everybody for attending it. Vanchakal Tarandhyasya Krupasandha Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnavvrindaki Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Namaskar. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.